Thanks for joining us, America. Gayle is with us in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Hi, Gayle. How are you?
Hi, Dave. I'm good. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Well, kind of similar to your last caller, except for I'm dealing with a 24-year-old who just doesn't want to keep a job. And my husband and I we used to follow Larry Burkett. Now we follow your plan. He has 2 retirements, working on a 3rd job. I work, so my son comes from a family who we've always worked, always saved money. We only have $50 left on our house. We have about $48 to $50 in debt, which is probably mostly my fault. I co-signed for a car for my son. I can't get past telling him no. He is a father now. He gets his son 3 days a week. We've gone as far as done the tough love as he cannot live in our house anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Just can't do it. He doesn't follow the rules. He gets just very obnoxious, and he just can't do it. So I guess when he calls crying, can't pay his rent, and doesn't know where he's going to live the next day, or the baby needs diapers, milk, I don't know what I'm going to do for the next 3 days, there's mom to the rescue. And I feel like right now, instead of helping my husband pay off some of the mess that I started and get the house paid off, which he wanted to do before he retired, which we didn't do, I feel like I'm working to pay for my son's living. And I know I should just say no, but I can't get rid of that guilt. Mm-hmm. And I'm just looking for some help.
Okay. I think I can help you because I think you need to replace your guilt with real guilt. Let me help you with that. You have not helped your son. You have hurt him.
Right.
And anytime you give him money and anytime you coddle him like he's a 4-year-old, you're hurting him. You're not helping him. You've done great harm to him because he's now under the illusion he can live like this.
Right.
And every time you give him money, you are hurting your son.
Okay.
So feel guilty if you give him money.
Okay.
Feel proud and good if you don't give him money because you're being a loving mother.
Mm-hmm.
See, the problem is this. Enablers are the nicest people on the planet. You're sweet. You are a sweet person. You have a kind and compassionate heart. And enablers are the people who get help confused. They define help wrong. You have a wrong definition of help. You feel like when you're giving him money, you're helping him, and when in reality, you're hurting him. You feel like when you are not giving him money that you are not helping him, when in reality, you're actually helping him.
Right.
You've defined help wrong.
I do think about that.
You've defined help wrong.
Okay.
And it's because you're sweet. It's not because you're a bad person. It's you're a sweet person. But you know that what that leads you to is your own inability to say no. And every time you say yes in this situation, you have brought him and you and your husband harm. You co-signed for a stupid car, which your husband told you not to do, and Larry Burkett told you not to do, and Dave Ramsey told you not to do, and you did it anyway, knowing that this kid was a deadbeat and doesn't work much.
Mm-hmm.
You knew it was going to blow up in your intellect.
Right.
And you did it anyway. You walked straight into the fan blade.
Well, how does he get to work and go to work? How does he get to work?
Yeah, you come up with all this crap in your head, but you lay your hand on a hot stove, and then you're shocked you got your hand burned.
Exactly.
You need to redefine help.
Okay.
And if you redefine help, you'll feel guilty every time you give him money because you'll know you're hurting your son. You've done him harm. It's not irreparable harm. He can be turned. But you've done him harm because he has a wrong view of what it takes to make it in this world. And part of that is because his mommy bails him out. And that's not me being mean. That's me helping you redefine guilt.
Right.
I want you to feel guilty if you give him money. I want you to feel convicted if you give him money because you're hurting him.
Right.
He's spineless and he has no work ethic.
The worst part is I know that. I just, when I'm working a midnight shift as a nurse and he's calling me because he's in his car because he doesn't know where to go, I'm like, ugh.
Just pretend like when he does that he's calling you and asking you to go to go and give him money for cocaine.
Right.
You would never do that. Why? Because cocaine would destroy his life.
Correct.
And you would never give him money to destroy his life. And you are. Mom, I need some cocaine, please, Mom. This life's bad. If you don't give me some cocaine, I'm going to be okay. You would laugh at the absurdity of that. And so replace his request for money in your mind with request for cocaine, because it's the same thing. It's harm, in other words. That's where we're redefining help with you. And you got to realize you're bringing him harm as if you were buying him cocaine. Every time you reinforce his lack of work ethic and his sniveling and whining and crying as a 24-year-old little boy instead of being a man. What were you doing when you were 24? What was your husband doing when he was 24? I sure wasn't calling home to my mommy asking for money.
Exactly. I tell him that all the time. I was actually a single mother with him working 2 jobs, and I tell him that all the time. And I'm like, I did it. Yeah. And he's like, oh, well, today's not like that. You can't make as much money to live off of. I'm like, I was a single mom. What do you not understand? I didn't have welfare. I didn't have food stamps or anything. I was doing it on my own with you.
Yep. So you need to help. And, okay, so your husband is his stepdad.
Yes.
But basically raised him.
Yes.
Okay.
Since little toddler up, has raised him. Like I said,
you need to set yourself in an accountability relationship with your husband regarding how you're treating your son. And you can never give him any more money for cocaine.
Okay.
Is that logical to you, grasping kind of how I'm going at this?
Yes. That's what I needed, because
it's not tough love, it's love.
Right.
Everybody says, well, it's tough love. It's not tough love. It's just love. I love him so much that I know if he doesn't fix this, he's going to have a horrible life. And he is. His life sucks because he has no discipline. He does everything on impulse. He has no manhood. He's a little boy in a 24-year-old body. And if he doesn't grow up until he grows up, is the best way of saying it, his life is going to continue to suck, and you can't fix it. Because every time you try to fix it, he makes it worse. Is this right?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm going to send you a book that's one of my favorite on this subject by a man named Dr. Henry Cloud. It's called Boundaries.
Okay.
And what's happening here is you don't have good, healthy boundaries. And that's what all enablers do. And I'm not a psychologist. I just know this stuff because I've dealt with it for so many years. And, oh, by the way, I've done stuff like this too. So, okay. It's not like I've got this all figured out and I'm perfect. Don't misunderstand. But we all love people, and we can get confused when we love them between helping them and hurting them.
Right.
And we can do that. And so I want you to feel as guilty as if you had bought him a pound of cocaine every time you give him money from this point forward. You should never give him another dime.
Okay.
You can love him. You can have him. He can come over for dinner. We'll babysit the kid occasionally, the baby, the grandchild, and put diapers on them when they're here. And if you're homeless, we'll help with the baby, but we're not helping with you.
Right.
Because it's time for you to be a man, my son.
Right.
Your manhood, it's time for it to come and to show up, you being a grown-up. And part of the problem with this whole story is his arrogance. That's tied into his rebellion here. So, all right, cool. Hold on. Kelly will pick up, and she'll give you a free copy of Dr. Henry Cloud's book, Boundaries, and we'll mail it out to you. I just love that book because it's where you learn these basic ways of operating our lives. It's weird that family questions are dominating the airwaves today. But then again, it's not really weird. We all struggle with these things, don't we? Some are more extreme than others. But, never hear me being mean to that 24-year-old. Now, I'll call him names and I'll pick on him to implant in his mother's mind emotionally what she needs to do. But if he called me up, I would say, dude, you're being a wuss. Suck it up. Get 6 jobs. Feed your baby. Buy some diapers. You can do it. You can do it. I'd call him out on it if he called me on the air. So this is why? Because I want him to win. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.